Hey everybody, we are back with another review. Actually, it's a review slash follow-up. So, got contacted recently by Empire Rolling Papers about counterfeit papers and some of the papers that we reviewed on this channel, basically how they were counterfeit papers and weren't actually their brand. And they kind of sent me a little bit of a description here on, how to recognize and identify their particular papers. So we're going to go through that today. But I did find it interesting that someone's brand was literally completely ripped off, and it was nice that they actually reached out to us to kind of clear the air, because we did run into a streak of these Empire Rolling Papers slash currency papers. I don't know if you remember, we did like a whole block of these currency papers, and we noticed that they all kind of came from China. They were all kind of made in the same place, and they all kind of had the same similar quality to them. So today we're actually talking about, we got the, hang on, let's do the, this was the pack of Benjamins or Bennies that we got directly from China that had no packing whatsoever. Then we got the Empire rolling papers here that were the gold foil ones, which these are not theirs either. And then we had these Honey Puff $100 bill ones, which was a ripoff of their papers as well. So we know that the Honey Puff, though, when we looked into their information, it says branded design of USA, but made in the People's Republic of China. So honeypuffusa.com, interesting. So these people did rip theirs off too, and we're going to compare them because they actually sent me out their official papers, which I have right here, and those are the actual real ones right here, which we did try, and they were actually really good. So let's put these down, and we can look at everything that we got here. So without further ado, let's hop right into this review slash redemption story for Empire Rolling Papers. So again, we have the real ones right here, which I'll show you the pack itself. It's a little bit different. They did steal the technology, but they didn't do it kind of the right way, I guess you could say. You could see the perforated marks here on their particular pack that they went with, and the paper and the card stock that they used. You can see that there's perforated marks here on these particular rolling papers, and then on this one there isn't. It's just a normal pack of rolling papers. They did steal the envelope design, but again, they didn't do it as classy as the actual original one that they ripped off, which has a nice little little pouch right here, where it kind of just tucks right in. This one has a very large flap, which tucks in but also sticks out like crazy when you have the pack, compared to the actual original, which is a little bit more slimmer finish, which I like that, honestly. And then this one obviously is going to collapse because the way that it's built and designed, it's not really done right. It has a lot of these perforated sections on each one of the folds to make it easier for them to fold it. That's probably the easier path of production when they're creating these packing little envelopes for these papers. But again, we went over the fact that these, we understand, are not intended, these gold rolling papers are not intended for rolling up a J or a cigarette or anything like that. The gold rolling papers are basically used for other types of illegal drug activities, where I guess people were saying they were making pipes into these to smoke various other things that are not cannabis related or anything like that, or tobacco related. So they were using these as a ploy to sell them as rolling papers, but they're really not. They're not meant for that, because you clearly can't smoke them, which baffled me, because I've actually smoked gold rolling papers where it has a gold edible foil and the inside has an actual rolling paper. You roll it up and you smoke it, and it's actually legit. It leaves a little gold roach. But this was not what we ended up getting when we got this product. So it was something that's like they do these things where they'll show you like these little like glass concentrate bowls or little dishes that you burn your oils in or your waxes in for vaporizing, and it ends up not being something intended for those types of oils and waxes. They're used for other things. So again, sometimes you get fooled by certain things like that, but they use their brand when they created this pack altogether. And then the actual brand itself, it's the 20-pack Benny king size plus tips. You can see the print of the actual, where are we at here? The actual pack itself is a little bit different than the way the Honey Puff did. Now, Honey Puff ripped off their technology exactly, so I don't really know how Honey Puff got, like, it's almost like they took the image file, and I'll show you that in a second too. So anyway, on the end caps here, we got EmpireRolling.com. Go check them out. That's the actual site itself. Let me see, did they have Empire Rolling on here? No, they didn't. Founded in New York, and Cam Papers has devoted itself to providing a premium smoking experience, but they spelled spoking instead of smoking. Now this one doesn't have a website on it at all, so that's the first thing you can tell right there is it's not them. On the end here you have the website again. It's got the $100 bill rolling papers. It also has this nice little currency band wrap that you get from the bank when you get large amounts of bills at one time. They'll give you these little band wraps around it. Got a UPC on the back, recycled cardboard, non-GMO. It's gluten-free and it's plant-based. Made in China. It is say it's made in China. So I imagine if these are made in China, then they probably have the image file or whatever, the technology that went into this pack, probably available for copyright here. And maybe they sold this brand or this paper to this brand Honey Puff. I don't know. Honey Puff could be a totally different company, but they got Empire Rolling's technology in there somehow. Instead of ink, Empire Rolling uses edible vegetable oil for more natural and slow burn. So there you go. Again, nice little tucked little flap there. Opens up. You got the tips on the top, just like the Honey Puff ones. It's in there. Yeah, it's pretty snug in there. It would be nice if they did some kind of glue all the way across. That sags kind of interesting. But you got the paper itself, and then let's compare that to, these are the knockoff ones right here. Now right off the bat you can see that it is very similar. The font itself, Benny, is almost like it was printed on the same machine. You can check this out. It's almost done on the same machine. Now here's the telltale sign. One of the things that they actually mentioned in their expose of these frauds that I guess are copying their technology is they said that the blue stripe down the center here, as you can see, it has their, let's get the logo here on the front here. So you can see the blue stripe has the Empire Building. Now if you look right here, you can see there's the blue stripe, there's the Empire Building, you can see the Empire Building, and it just repeats on this particular band, and that's their logo for the Empire Rolling Papers. Now as you can see, these are the knockoffs. They have the same type of Empire State Building band. As you can see right here, there's a little band right there with the Empire Building. So they actually, it's like I said, they almost have the image file that they just reprinted on this particular paper. Now again, we don't know if they use the same type of ink. It does appear to be the same style of ink, so I mean it might be the actual same ink, but that's very interesting that they have almost like the exact same image file, because if it wasn't the same image file, it wouldn't be an exact copy like that. Now here's the inside of the Honey Puff one, which has a little bit of design on the backsplash. They glued it all the way, which you can see on the Empire ones. It wasn't glued all the way. This one doesn't have a sag, so they ripped it off, but they actually did something a little bit better, which is interesting. The opening here is a little bit different. I like the Empire one. It's got a little bit more closure, so you don't have to worry about your papers flying out and getting wet and just gross. You don't have to worry about having them unprotected. It's a little bit more protection. So I do like the fact that the Empire ones are a little bit different. And the cardstock on the Honey Puff are a little bit more heavier quality than the actual Empire ones. So this company who ripped them off, they actually use a little bit better quality cardstock than the Empire ones, because as you can see, the Empire one is a little bit squished, which is, you know, normal. I mean, that packs of papers do that. So here's the Honey Puff ones on the left, and here's the Empire ones on the right. As you can see now, the Empire ones are on the bottom. They have the exact same blue stripe. It's a little bit more faded than the one on the bottom, but it's exactly the same design. I mean, pound for pound, the number, the serial on the bill is different. That's about it. And I imagine they just changed the number, because all these have the same thing, 2246215D, and then the Honey Puff ones has something else, 0988 it ends with. So they're a little bit different. And then the counterfeit ones over here, the other ones, they have the exact same ones as the actual Empire. So they copied it exactly. So when I said they have the image file, there you go. There's a good example. They literally copied the exact image and used the same number and everything. So the Honey Puff ones, the rip-off ones, they have a little bit different number, so you could tell that's definitely something right off the bat. But they both say Benny underneath the portrait, and then everything else is exactly the same on them, except for the fact they changed the number around. Now, in regards to the paper itself, these did, the Empire rolling papers, they actually smoked pretty good. They smoked very similar to the ones over here again, the 022426 whatever 61D. These ones smoked very similar. These smoked a little bit different. The Honey Puff one smoked a little bit different, which we already did a review on those. If you want to check that out, we did a review on these. I'll leave a information card up here in the corner. We did a solo review just on these. We had nothing to compare them to because at the time it was one of the first ones that we discovered. So go and check that on out. Again, the little info card will be up there. But we got the Empire rolling papers themselves. It's just unfortunate that somebody ripped off their technology. Now this is something that is made or I guess designed in the US, because where it shipped from, where it was made, I believe somewhere in Virginia or something like that, West Virginia or Virginia, somewhere over there in the Northeast. And these are the ones that actually contacted me directly to be like, hey man, you got some counterfeit fraudulent product there, let's send you out the right stuff so you could actually check it out and do like a legit review on our product. So again, legit product. Whoever copied this counterfeit one was the closest to all of them, I guess you could say, closest to the brand. But the Honey Puff ones were just a little bit different. But again, they might have had the same access to the same technology as this other company over here. The Empire Gold foil papers, again, don't even buy those because they're not meant for smoking a J, a cigarette, or anything. They're meant for smoking other things, and they're not made by this company. They just stole their brand. I mean, they have the Benjamins and everything on the front of this particular gold pack, but there's not even a currency rolling paper in that. It's a gold foil paper. So keep that in mind when you're going out and buying papers on wish.com and eBay, and you're buying these papers that are coming from overseas, or even somebody who bought them already from overseas and is selling them over here stateside. You're going to be getting all different types of papers. Now again, it's something that looks exactly the same, but they could be made with different ingredients. Just because this one company says that they make theirs with instead of ink, they use edible vegetable oil for more natural and slow burn. You don't know that these other companies are using those particular same ingredients. Just because they have the image file doesn't mean that the ink that they're using to print the image file is the exact same stuff that the actual company themselves is vouching that they're doing. So go ahead and check out EmpireRolling.com if you want to see what they got, their little catalog, and see their company and see what they're all about. Check them out. If you like this tale of redemption, give this video a thumbs up. If you want more content like this, subscribe for more. I do smoking reviews every single day, so be on the lookout for that, and have a great rest of your day.